Everyone, Once Bitten here. So this is the long-awaited battle report, Once Bitten versus Dan from the Ninth Age forums. So this took place on the Friday night before Brawler Bash, and Dan had driven all the way down from Pennsylvania, and he got stuck in rush hour traffic on a Friday afternoon in Washington, D.C. One would think that he would know better than to even have that be possible, but it's hard to avoid rush hour. So anyway, he didn't get here till like 9 o'clock at night, so he had to have been exhausted. I think he had been driving for like 9 hours that day, and I'd been hanging out the store since like 2 o'clock. I think we were both really tired. We were supposed to be playing game one of the tournament, and when the pairings were posted, the TO forgot to match us together, and we decided just to play a casual game Friday night rather than asking the TO to change our game and at least one other game, you know. So anyway, we were both, I think, looking forward to this. He'd put a lot of time in over the last couple of months getting this army painted. It's just really fantastic. So anyway, this is of course 6,000 points using Brawler Bash rules. If you don't know those rules, please see my introductory video to the tournament. And one thing we did is we each put up a potential trophy to be had. So he has this beautiful little Skaven rat, and I put up an old 6th edition Bowman that years and years ago I needed more men-at-arms and I didn't need as many Bowmen, so I cut off the bow and I put up this this spear. It looks like an old bazooka toy from years and years ago. Anyway, we shared lists ahead of time, and Dan said, you know, referring to my list, he says, that list is absolutely insane. I predict we'll both end up with 6,500 points and next to nothing left on the board. I looked at his list and I think I'm going to die. I do not have the tools to handle the Vermin Swarm list. Vermin Swarm are just, God, they're so nasty still. Anyway, so he's got a couple abominations, beautiful conversions, just beautiful. Should I say right here, though, I won third place best painted in the tournament, and Dan was right behind me at fourth place best painted. And I don't see how that happens. I think his army is much better than mine. And I think the reason both of us were so high was because of the number of conversions in the army. Anyway, two beautiful converted abominations. There's the cannon look at thing is actually a plague catapult. It's got some plague disciples, a meat grinder. Behind it's a weapons team rotary gun. Vermin Swarm. I think his battle standard bearer is in with them. Then he's got the Plague Brotherhood with the Plague Prophet on a Plague Pendulum, and he's got his general in with him as well. He's rocking Path of Shamanism with 3 spells, Book of Arcane Power. Got 2 more units of Plague Disciples, a big, huge unit of Clan Rats. In with them, he's got a meat grinder, but he also has this dude with the Doom Blade, which is just nasty. And he's got 2 more weapon team rotary guns. On the far left, he's got a unit of gutter blades, and he has another unit of gutter blades that will be ambushing. My plan for the ambushers is just not to worry about it. If you know, my Trebs don't need to live all game. They're going to have 2, maybe 3 turns of shooting, and I just need them to help me whittle down some of these big units. So on the far left, I've got my big, huge 6-man unit of Pegasus Knights with 2 characters, both Lord level, both pretty killy. Then I've got my 15-man Knight Aspirant unit, 2 units of 30 Bowmen with the Sacred Reliquary in there, 2 Trebs behind them, and then a unit of Questing Knights, 12 strong, with my Battle Standard Bearer, who's pretty killy, and my Wizard Master Path of Divination with 4 spells, Book of Arcane Power. So I won the turn to go first, which is just weird. Never do that. Yeah, I move up a little bit. I reposition my knights really just a little bit. Mainly I take my characters out and I have them where you can see them. Now, I want you to look at the guy in the lower left. I actually had him facing my Trebuchet. And then I was thinking, you know, his ambushers can't come on that soon. So I just turned him to face forward. It's like, you know, it doesn't matter how he's facing. I don't know why I faced him. And that came back to bite me in the butt later. But I didn't need my characters rushing out at him, and I need them both over, especially the Lord, the General, the guy in the middle of this picture. I need him over where the abominations are. So they're helping me out a little bit with the gutter blades, but they're also repositioned to get over where I need them. With shooting, I decided to pick on the Plague Disciples because the big units, I think a few bow shots aren't going to help me much. These guys, I've heard, are pretty killy. They've got an obnoxious Initiative 10 auto hit, ignore armor save, bull crap. So I don't need to be charging them with knights. So let's just start whittling them down a little bit. All right, we go to Vermin Swarm turn 1, and he moves up as aggressively as he can. Then during the magic phase, the only spell I cared to stop was the one where you bring on this guy, Totemic Summoning. It's the only spell I cared about. Every other spell, yep, you can have it. Yep, don't care. Let it go. Let it go. I don't care. And I saved this one. And I had more dice than him, and I couldn't stop it still. And this guy on the left, remember, he was facing my trebuchet. He was set up to be able to charge that guy, and just on a whim, I had turned him, and now I hate being as dumb as I am. His stupid plague, I say stupid because everything in Vermin Swarm is, his stupid plague catapult takes away 4 knights. And we go to Kingdom of Equitaine turn 2. So for the most part, I'm hanging back. I just need to shoot more stuff, and it's really support units I'm looking to shoot. I would love to be able to take my Bowmen and put a wound or 2 on his abominations, because that really matters. I think I can do wounds to him, but 1 or 2 wounds makes a huge difference. And I just, it's them, but I also have these disciples I need to kill, and it'd be nice to be able to pick on those rotary guns too. Anyway, if you look at the top left, my Peg Knights charge the disciples there. I figure they can handle it. I lost 1 to dangerous terrain. Still have 5 left. And we go to combat. And are you kidding me? I want you to look at that. He killed 3 Pegasus Knights. It's just... Those stupid little things, they were probably worth like 20 points. Yeah, anyway, I ran him down. I was hoping to charge one of these guys and be able to pick up those points, but now I won't be able to, and he'll be able to shoot me with both of them. A little bit disappointed with that. And we go to Vermin Swarm turn 2, and again, he's moving up as fast as he can. He has so much stuff at the table. Like, I'm curious what it looks like from the other side of the table, because I'm looking at it from my side. I'm like, I've got nothing. I've got nothing that can hang with anything anyway. I mean, his abominations alone are going to be tough for me to take out. He's got these 3 huge hordes with nastiness in them and all these support units. Oh, how do you deal with Vermin Swarm? His Totemic Summoning dude charges a Trebuchet. Through magic, he kills the other Trebuchet. They weren't doing much this game. We go to shooting, and he kills the final 2 Peg Knights. That Peg Knight 6, man, that's a lot of points that just did crap. Just did nothing. All right. Excuse me. Stuff's about to get real. So I've waited long enough. Let's start taking care of stuff, at least as much as we can. So at the bottom, I've got a lower level character charging the Totemic Summoning dude. It's not a wonderful use of his talents, but he might as well do something. I'm not going to charge him up into any blocks. I think there's still time in the game for him to get up and help where needed. I'm sorry, my allergies are kicking in. I'm about coughing every word. My Knight's Aspirant charge his Plague unit, and really the idea here is that unit's going to die. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to die. But impact hits will kill a few rats, but really what I'm hoping for is I've got, I want to say 4 guys in base contact with his Pendulum. 2 attacks each, plus the guys behind him. So 12 attacks, and during the magic phase, I'm hoping to get reroll to hit with divine attacks, and any other spell I don't care about. That, my goal is to kill the Pendulum. And if I can't kill it, if I can at least get it down to like 1 wound left so that later on I can kill it. Because once that thing's dead, I'm not worried about that unit. On the right, Questing Knights, my general charge an abomination. Now, what I really need is for my general and the BSB to kill it before it gets to swing, because if it swings, it's just going to take a bunch of knights with it, and I'd really rather that not happen. So there's that. Hopefully that's over. Oh, wait. You know, I should mention, by the way, on his turn, he charged my Trebuchet and just totally whiffed. I think my Trebuchet had 3 wounds on it already, and I think he only did 1 wound. So, wow. Way to go, Treb. There's that. Valiant last charge. Charge of the Light Brigade. They know they're going to die. Their job is just to take that thing down with them. And over here, now obviously, if we kill it, my general's going to overrun and hit the other abomination, and even that scares me because the thing just, you know, I don't know if I can do that many wounds to it, and I think my general dies if I don't kill it outright. The Questing Knights, one way or another, they're going to kill this abomination, I think. But if they overrun, they don't hit anything useful, so they're just going to reform. Go to shooting, and thank goodness we take care of several of these guys because we've seen what they can do for 20 points or whatever they are. And after combat, yeah, whew, that worked. So BSB. So my BSB has a Virtue of Might and a Lance. My general has a Dragon Lance, Virtue of Audacity. That combo was enough, unless this guy was just going to get stupid lucky with his regen saves. And my general opted not to use the breath weapon from the Dragon Lance. So he overruns, reform that unit. We go over here, and they just totally epically fail. It was just so frustrating. They do a couple wounds to the pendulum, but other than that, just a total fail. So that unit's now going to die for nothing. The one thing I have going for me is that Plague Disciple can't see them, and it's in the way of his rat unit with a Doomblade charging them in the flank. So he's going to charge my archers. I'm not going to stand and shoot. I just hope that he rolls like nothing and blocks that unit. That would be very, very nice. We go to Vermin Swarm turn 3, and the Plague Disciple does fail the charge, but he still rolls high enough to get out of the way so that the rat unit could get him in the flank. And then everything failed for him. His Meat Grinder tried to charge my other unit of archers. It failed his charge. His BSB's unit with Vermin Swarm tried to charge my BSB's unit, and he failed that charge. I mean, he needed next to nothing to get there. It was crazy. His Gutter Blades come on, and again, I don't really care. My Trebuchet has 1 wound left. My guess is they're going to shoot it to death. There's this guy. So, I don't know. My Knights Aspirant are going to die regardless. What's nice about this guy being here, though, is after this combat, remember, my Questing Knights with BSB are facing all this stuff. And so when the combat's done, if, you know, he can't ignore my BSB and Questing Knights. So he's got, and that guy, this Plague Disciple's keeping him from doing a lot of things with Reform. So, my Knights, my Peasants actually can charge this guy, and it's not a hugely long charge. So my opponent kind of has to decide, like, do you reform in a way where you're facing the front of my Peasants, so my Peasants can't charge you in the flank, but if you do that, my BSB and Knights of the Quest can charge you in the flank. Or do you face my Knights of the Quest and ignore my Peasants? Failed charges all around. I couldn't believe this BSB's unit failed. That was nothing. This time, when I go to my attacks at my initiative stage, I decide that I am going to use my breath weapon, and thank goodness, because the Dragon Lance Virtue of Audacity got this thing down to 1 wound, and I released the breath weapon. And again, you have to decide before, you know, at the beginning of the initiative step. So I do the breath weapon, 2d6, strength 3. I need 6s to wound, and I roll 1, and I killed this thing just barely. Just barely. It makes the Meat Grinder take a panic test, and he had to flee from the nearest unit, so he went like that. So that was kind of funny, kind of odd. Nice that he's not available for redirection or anything like that. And then he kills the Knight's Aspirant down to a man. The banner is fleeing, as you can see, and on the left he decided just to kind of stay where he was. He just couldn't reform because the Plague Disciple's in the way. I mean, he could have reformed drastically. Maybe. I don't know. He's so long. I don't know if he could have reformed much. Anyway, that's what he decided to do. If he'd offered my BSB the flank, that would have been nice. I would have charged it and then gotten to safety. The problem I'm looking at right now is, can I charge something and not get countercharged? All right, so we go to Kindgom Equitain turn 4. So I decided to charge the Questing Knights into his plague unit. His pendulum is down to just a couple wounds left, right? I mean, my Knight's Aspirant did some wounds to it. I'm really hoping that my BSB can kill that thing before it just really hurts the unit. And if I do that, then he won't be stubborn, and I might be able to get him down past Steadfast. My general tried to charge in there to help out, and he failed the charge. Darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it. But the peasants make it into the Plague Disciple. It wasn't a huge long charge. You can see where the other unit is. It's not that far away. And, I mean, that Plague Disciple is just perfect because he's frenzied. He can't flee, and he shouldn't be hard to beat in combat. And then I overrun into his Doomblade guy's unit of these rats and hold them up from countercharging. Meanwhile, this Knight's Aspirant guy doesn't rally, of course. He was on like a 5, and then he runs over and fails his dangerous terrain and dies. Ignominious death. So after combat, yeah, this worked. I'm very happy those peasants. They they just beat the one guy, either killed him or beat him to combat res and overran. And in this combat, the good news is we killed. Look at all the wounds we did. We just ate that guy up. We killed the pendulum, broke him, but we couldn't run him down, which was very frustrating. And I really needed to lose one more guy because had I lost one more guy, I don't think that unit on the right could see me. But now he can see me. I'm like, scheisse. And I can't flee that charge because he has all these little stupid support units floating around that could charge me and just cause problems. So I think what's going to happen is his Vermin Guard on the right are going to charge the flank of my Knight unit, and I think they're just going to beat me through combat res, and just maybe hopefully I'll break and get away, and maybe live to do something else this game. But we go to Vermin Swarm turn 4, and instead of doing that, he decides to charge my general. Now, I think he was just being nice. I mean, the advantage of charging my general is my general sucks when he's not on the charge, and he's going to have a charge, 3 ranks, 2 banners, and I think a war standard. So he starts with a static res of 7. So even if he doesn't do any wounds to me, I'm not going to do that many wounds to him. You know, I don't know. Go figure. But I think we both would agree that the smarter move to charge my Questing Knights, and I think he was just wanting to have fun and not see me crying and throwing a tantrum on the floor or something like that. So there's that charge. Somehow, some way, this guy died. I think he must have rolled doubles, and whatever their misfire is, he died. So whatever, I'll take it. After combat, yeah, he actually snuck a wound through. I did very few wounds to him because my general sucks when he doesn't get the charge. And luckily, Swift Stride beats Vermin Swarm's automatic +1. I think they get that +1. So, we go to Vermin Swarm turn 4. So after combat, the peasants, remember, they charged this Doomblade unit in the flank, overran on my turn, so we didn't fight it till his turn, and he just couldn't do any wounds to me. I mean, his Doomblade guy was the wrong side of the unit, and even if he was on my side, I wasn't gonna touch him when I charged him. So he did very few wounds to me. I had a charge of flank, blah blah blah, beat him, but of course couldn't run him down. But because it's on his turn, it doesn't really matter. And things are weird here because I have peasants who are doing the lion's share of the fighting. Here up at the top, the peasants charge the Vermin Swarm unit. They roll, I think he rolls an 8. They get an automatic +1, 9, and 9 is what he needed to bounce off the table. That was nice because had he not gone off the table, I wasn't going to be able to do anything with that. They redirect and charge into the flank of this unit. And on the right, yeah, the Lord level character charges in there, but more importantly, that peasant unit was just waiting in the wings and had a nice easy charge into the flank of this unit, which is very, very nice. After combat, we easily win this one, and I can't run them down. These dang rats. they're ticking me off. Um, and over here, we win that combat and do run him down. Go figure. My general rallies. Wow. Now at this point, it's getting near midnight, and the store is going to close pretty soon. So he rallied on his turn. He shot me and killed a couple knights. And at this point, we're saying, I'm telling him, just shoot me as much as you're going to shoot me to see what points you get. And we're going to assume that I charge this unit and knock them out, or not. Doesn't really matter. So he's charging my general, or shooting at my general. He does another wound to him. Tries again. He can't get that final wound. And the game ends like that. I think, I could be wrong, I think we said that I probably would have got the rest of the Plague Brotherhood and probably the Plague Catapult. Maybe, maybe not. But he, he's got his 2 units of Gutter Blades left, and that's about it. And or the top units, he might have had them. And of course, I don't have a whole lot left. I've got all my characters and Questing Knights and my Bowmen. Doesn't seem like I have much left, but it doesn't seem like I had much to begin with. So if I was going to vote man of the match, I've got to give to these archers. They were superb. They were so awesome. Made me so happy. When they do anything, it makes me happy. Killing some gutter runner or plague disciples actually helped out quite a bit, just because those things just can cut one of my units down 25% like it's nothing. But more importantly, them charging units in the flank and pushing them off the board and stuff like that. The peasants saved the day in this battle. So at the end of the game, we decided that both of us deserved the trophies. So we swapped these out. Really, really cool. I have mine set up on my painting table. Makes me happy. This actually sparked an idea that I'm going to do, I think, for Southern Assault, which is a tournament in July that I'm one of the TOs for. Is we're going to buy little plinths, little 1.5-inch cubes, is like the base of a trophy, and we're going to paint up models from each army. So we have a best in race award. So who does the best with any given race, and they're going to get a trophy with something akin to these things, but on a plinth. Very, very excited for that. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.